Hello everyone, my name is Wayne Axelson and I'm going to explain to you how to put your boot cowl together that comes with your Super Cub kit. The same process will work with the PA-12. It is slightly different, but for the most part everything is the same. With the kit you're going to get a firewall, you're going to get a left and a right boot cowl side piece, and then there'll be some brackets that come with it. There'll be 4 little angles that look like this, and then there'll be 4 bigger angles, and they have 3 holes across here. I'm going to show you how this goes together. First of all, with our firewall, and I have that camera up there on such a high angle, just so as I put this together you can see down the table into the inside of this basically big bowl that we're going to make. So our first step is look at our firewall and let's figure out which way is which. Firewall looks like this. You will notice that there's some ridges across here. These are stiffener ribs designed into the firewall, so when we put a load on it like this, it's going to add some strength to it. You'll see we have 4 holes. These are the holes that basically made up to our airframe. Our motor mount's going to go on one side and the airframe will go on the other. We have another couple of holes here. We've got a series of 2 holes, 2 holes, same on this side. Those holes are designed for these steel brackets. So to give you an idea, if I can hold this to the side, one of these steel brackets will go, let's imagine this to be the engine side of our firewall. One of these steel brackets goes on here like so with these 2 holes on the outside towards the propeller. These little tabs here support the engine cowling support rails. So the cowling support rail will go on here and it would come out and attach to your nose bowl out here. Now this other bracket, it'll go on the back side here and it acts as a stiffener against the boot cowl itself, and there'll be 3 little rivets that will go in here. A bolt goes right through both of these brackets and they kind of support each other. Add support to the boot cowl here, holds the engine rail out this way. So that's what happens with these brackets. You'll see more detail as we put this together. The first step of this thing is to figure out which side faces forward, which side faces back. These little ridges here, you can see there's little bumps. We just bend these on the brake, and those bumps, ideally you want to have those face forward to the engine. This is going to be the airframe side, and the idea is that the front of the airframe, where your steel tubing is, you've got a nice flat surface. On this other side, you've got these ridges or bumps that really are just going to get a motor mount in a couple locations, and then it's all going to go out. So nothing has to rest against here. Where it does on the back side, you've got a steel tube going across here and another one across here. So we've determined that these bumps go on the outside, so we're going to lay those on the table. They will go flat down on the table like this. This is now the back side to the airframe. Now, we also have these pieces here. They're basically mirrored right down the middle. You will notice we have, if I can turn this, we have a flange here, and this is where our firewall attaches with all these holes lined up with all these holes here. These are all pre-drilled in sets here at the factory, so you'll see somewhere on your boot cowl part a number. And I can see this one here is a 31B, so I need to make sure that my other side, I can see the corresponding number. I've got a 31C over here. 31A, B. The firewalls now, we're getting these laser cut, so they're always the same. We don't need to number them. And they're actually symmetrical. Our holes are the same all the way around, so if I have it this way or if I flip it over, it's mirrored right down the middle, so the holes are the same both sides. So on these things, this portion here with this little notch this is the top of the boot cowl. The square edge is the bottom of the boot cowl. This little notch is designed in the airframe itself. There'll be a couple tubes here that meet, and they'll go up the V's in your window. So a tube comes down this way, a tube comes down this way, and they go through your boot cowl at this point. So we have a side piece here, just so you can get an idea how this goes together. This piece here, this piece here, they go like so, and your firewall goes in the middle. So, another thing I should point out on the firewall itself is you've got these little notches here on the bottom, and the purpose of this is, imagine if fluid or water were to get poured onto your firewall, which way do you want that water to run? And, think of it like shingles on the roof of your house. You want to have your boot cowl come over, and that flange wants to wrap over this side, so any water is going to basically have to run over down the outside. You don't want it to run back onto the inside. And then as it gets down to the bottom, the purpose of this tab is now to put your flange from the outside to the inside over here. So now as the water were to run all the way down the bottom of your firewall, it's just going to drip off. You don't have a ledge there or a flange that it can drip on the inside and get back into the airplane. And this is not really meant for water, it's more for oil or any other engine fluids that might leak across this thing. So, this is going to go down here like this. We are going to take our left piece. Now imagine this little flange here. We want to just slide that guy in like so. Turn this so you can see. On this flange right here, we have the top portion is on the outside of the firewall, or it's against the table first. The bottom portion is on this side of the firewall. So this is a transition point where we change things up. So if we wiggle this around a little bit, you should notice these holes will line up. Now because there is a little bit of spring in this, you might have a little bit of finessing to do. I am going to take some of these copper clecos, because I have 1/8" holes in here. We're going to cleco this thing together. So I'm just going to start at some point along here. And I'm just going to put a few in here. I don't need to go every hole. I'm just going to walk around the perimeter. Okay. There's enough clecos in here now. This side is held in place. I can turn this and get the other side in. Now I want to talk about, move these out of my way. Right over here you'll see a couple line of holes here. You got two rows of holes down here and 2 rows here. These are going to overlap, and this is designed, I don't remember which way they're put together, if they overlap the left side on the right or right on the left, and you'll see quick enough as you put this in here. If I overlap one way, my holes will be off. If I overlap the correct way, they will line up. So I think I'm close here like this. I think that's it right there. Now my holes line up. And I have a little mark on the one skin here. I'm going to get a cleco started. So I'm going to pull this in around here. There we go. Clecos now. Now you can also see at the edges here, my overlap, where this flange is on the inside at the bottom of the firewall, and my flange is on the outside of our firewall at the top edge. And that's just for our fluid. So, once this is in place, and I know that these holes line up, I might throw a couple Clecos in here just to keep sure that's going to be alright. And these are 3/32 holes, which are the silver Clecos. So I might pop a couple of those in. Okay, now turn this around a little bit just so you can have a look at the front. Here's the firewall, just like so. Now, basically what my plan here is I need to get some rivets in here all the way around the perimeter of this firewall. You've got a couple choices here. You can use a stainless steel pop rivet. You can use, they have Cherry Max rivets, which are structural. This is not really a structural issue here because the frame, the body is the main component. You're going stainless steel to the aluminum. I'm actually going to go ahead and use a solid rivet. I'm just going to use what do I have here? I've got 4-5 hard rivets, and I'm just going to put those in. No particular reason why, other than the fact that I don't have any pop rivets here. If I had pop rivets, they're much easier. No one's going to see this because once the engine is on, the top engine cowl goes on, the side engine cowls go on. Until you open up that engine cowling, visually no one's going to see this row of rivets, and you know, anything is acceptable. We just need to get that fastened.